Slam. In this episode, we have the iconic legend Doro Pesch talking up a variety of subjects, including her new Warriors of the Sea album, her Metal Queen, Metal Cruises, streaming, believing in yourself, and this quote: "You have something to offer, even when people don't understand it." Keep listening. All right, so there's beauty in the heart of the beast. What's up, everyone? Jack Mangan from Support Life and Music, Slam. You also know me through metalasylum.net, Metal Hall of Fame. Today we're talking with someone, it's just one of the most powerful voices in music history, powerful voice that I've been listening to for decades, who, it's not often you talk to someone where you look every day at the concert flyer of their band on the wall. So, of course, going back to Warlock and, of course, many decades, Doro Pesch. Thank you so much, Doro, for talking to us today.
Oh, thank you, Jack. Super nice to be on your show, and it's always great talking about music and metal, and I'm just happy that we connect.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's wonderful. And let's get right to the first order of business, because you've got a lot of exciting things going on in 2025 and beyond. Tell me, what are the Metal Queen Metal Cruises? This sounds exciting. What is this all about?
Yeah, actually, I was playing on many cruises, the Monsters of Rock cruise, the Full Metal cruise, the Megadeth cruise, like the 10,000 tons of metal cruise. So one time I said, oh, I would like to do my own cruise, and at first it was just an idea, because it's pretty risky. You have to book a ship, and it's pretty there's so much work involved, which I didn't know before, but we did it. Now we said, okay, let's make our first cruise, the Metal Queen Metal Cruise, and we booked a ship, and then the first show was totally sold out, like right away, and we said, wow, so people might be interested in it. And then we did a second one, and then we were thinking about how should it look, and I wanted to have like a little ghost ship pirate kind of theme. And so we kind of we had a new backdrop and all kinds of little things, and then I thought maybe it needs a song, and actually, almost by accident, this song popped out. It was Warriors of the Sea. The whole chorus, the whole melody, the lyrics, everything was there already. And which I think that's always the best way, when you don't even want to write a song, when you don't sit down to write a song, when it just like comes out, and yeah. And then I sang it on my little Walkman, on my little cell phone. Walkmans, that was in the 80s. I always did that on my cell phone. And I sent it to my bass player, and he said, oh man, that sounds pretty good. Let's do it. And then we put some more, I put more lyrics, like more verses. We did a bridge, and then suddenly the song Warriors of the Sea was done. And actually, then I sang it on a cruise for the first time, and people loved it. And then the second day was the second cruise. People loved it even more. Yeah, and then I played it on every summer festival this year. And yeah, and then we did a nice video. Actually, the video was filmed on the cruise, and then we put some more stuff onto it. And then I thought, I want to do a single, maybe like a picture disc single. And then we thought maybe like a maxi disc. And then it became a whole album with like special tracks, like rare tracks, and a cover version of Touch Too Much, because that was my favorite AC/DC song, and it was the last single of Bon Scott. Yeah, and then the other side is all live tracks, and Warriors of the Sea is on. And it's a beautiful picture disc, and it's a special album. It's a liquid filled vinyl with blue curacao. And check this out. Isn't that cool? It's like, actually, I know you shouldn't hold records like that, but I have the cell phone in my other hand. And so that's actually, it's something unique. So for the diehard vinyl collectors, it's probably something really nice. And that's coming out 24th of October. And yeah, and it's and we're planning another cruise next year, 6th of June in Cologne. Maybe we want to do one in America. That's actually in the making, but 6th of June in Cologne, Germany, that's confirmed. So let's see what happens. And and it will be a special set list. It will be different from our own. Boy, I'm so exhausted doing all these interviews. I'm so sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah.
No, you're doing
The
great.
guys
Yeah.
don't even know how it is talking all day long. I'm so sorry. But actually, the set list will be all different from like a normal show. And yeah, and many more special adventures and things. And so, yeah.
And I applaud all of it. The cruise, the album. Yeah, the new special album is really great. I was going to touch on a lot of the things you touched on. I touched too much as it's kind of everyone's secret favorite AC/DC song. So it was kind of a great choice.
Yes, yes, I love it so much, and yeah, and I love Bon Scott. I have never seen him live, unfortunately, but yeah, but I loved him so much. Like he was such a free spirit, and yeah, and Touch Too Much is my favorite, always was. So
Oh, it's great. And by the way, let's touch on something Doro just said. So you guys don't want to hear me, you want to hear from Doro, but this is part of being an artist is and doing these media days where you have to talk to a bunch of yahoos like me all day. It's I can appreciate it. It's tiring and exhausting. I when I'm at the office and I have to talk to people all day. By the end of the day, I'm like, everyone shut up. So I respect that, that you do this. I'm really grateful for you taking the time to talk to me.
I love doing it, but sometimes, man, like, you lose a little bit concentration after a whole day, and I just came back from America. We played in Chicago, or actually St. Charles. So I'm totally jet lagged, the whole thing. And when you're jet lagged, you can't sleep at night, it's like all like, the whole, yeah, but I'm glad that we talk, and I apologize if I if I seem like a little exhausted. That's like, I guess it's human. Yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed. No need for apologies at all. Like I said, I'm really grateful that you took some time. Like I said, I'm going to be respectful of your time and the fact that you've been doing this all day. So it's all good. So I'll ask a couple. Well, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to say? I definitely want to make sure we promote the album. It is really wonderful. I love the German language songs. I love the English language songs. I love like I said, it's a great collection of rarities. It's stuff that maybe even me as a longtime fan, I'm not familiar with. I don't know, is there anything else you want to say about the record?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. One of our fan favorites is like Raise Your Fist. Raise Your Fist almost gets like the same response like All We Are, which is always, still our big hit song. And yeah, and I love it all. And I love live versions. I think our live versions, they they are always 10,000 times better than the studio versions because of the fans. Like when I see them live, when we do something together, man, live is, I think, what I do best. So I always try to get the same energy in the studio record, but I think it's like life is better. Like, it's just like that's the truth, I think. But when you want to do a new album, of course, it's like it's pretty lonely, just the engineer, maybe the guitar player, and you. And I have to tell you that great story. One time we were in the studio, we were recording the Triumph and Agony album you're familiar with, right? And we had this great drummer in the studio, Cozy Powell, and we had this one song, it was called Touch of Evil, and it has like a big drum intro. And I called my manager at the time, Alex Grove was his name. He was American, but he was from Switzerland. And I said, Alex, I need a drummer, much more powerful and stuff. He said, don't get upset, I have somebody. Next day, go into the studio, 11 o'clock, somebody will show up you will love. And I didn't know who it was. And then I went to the Power Station studio in New York City, and Cozy Powell was there. And Cozy said, hey, you need my help? And I said, oh my God, yes. So he played that song, Touch of Evil, and it was so unbelievable. It was so powerful, so great. And then a couple of days later, it was my turn to record the vocals. And actually, I always want to get like high energy, and everybody said, okay, Doro, give it your all. I said, yes, I always do it. And then I screamed like unbelievable. And suddenly there was a ball of lightning coming into the studio, into the window, even though the window had glass, but lightning was coming, like flowing around one time around me, like a big ball. Like it looked like not a football, it was like maybe like a, you know, yeah, like a handball. And then it was going all around me and then going back out the window. And everybody said, Doro, what did you do? I guess we have to go home because there's so much energy here. Let's go. And later on, I found out it's like deadly. If that thing like, hits you, you're dead. So, so when we are talking about energy, like, yeah, life is great, but sometimes I try to get enough energy to, yeah, to to get lightning into the studio. So it's like, and it was unbelievable. That was pretty spooky, pretty scary. So I would just
Right.
share that story with you.
Wow. See, you have so much power that it just, your power just brings that much energy into the studio. That's incredible. So
Yeah, yeah. I guess together with like the drumming of Cozy Powell, and it was insane. It was insane. So yeah, so I'm always careful that I give out good energy. It's really like, that's important. Yeah, like
yeah,
positive. Yeah.
wow, that's incredible. Yeah, that's a story for the ages. I can't, who else can tell that? Robert Plant probably doesn't even have a story like that. That's incredible.
So
Uh,
no, yeah. Unfortunately, there weren't any cell phones. It was not, not filmed, no photo, no cell phones back then. I wish, that, but it's like in my head, and I can always like, talk about it. And it was unbelievable, insane.
yeah, there you go, musicians. Watch out for lightning in the studio.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I mean, so let me, like I said, I have a couple more questions I definitely want to get to, but one thing, I think part of what's great about a Doro live experience is your band. This is a testament to you that your band has stayed together and tight knit for so long. I mean, what a great group of musicians too. Can you tell us just a little bit about your current touring band?
Oh yes, yes. Actually, yeah. My bass player, his name is Nick Douglas, and he's with me since 1990. So many years, 1990. And that was a funny story. I did an audition in SIR in New York, and there were about 120 bass players trying out, which was amazing. And then Nick was the first one who walked into the door, and I said, "That's the one." And my manager, he said, "Hey, Doro, you have to check out everybody. Like, all these 119 bass players, you have to check them out, like it's like, out of respect." And I said, "Yes, but I know it's Nick." So I checked out everybody, and everybody did really, very well. They were super nice people, super talented, but it was still Nick. So we are together in this band since 1990, and my gut feeling was right. He was super. And Johnny D, our drummer, he's in the band since 1993. And then we have a Brazilian. Actually, he's American. He has American citizenship. He's born in Brazil. Bill Hudson is his name, and he's awesome. And Bas Maas, he's from the Netherlands. He's in the band. And when we play in America, sometimes we have Chris Caffrey. We just played together in Chicago. Chris Caffrey from Sabotage and TSO, who's amazing, amazing. And we had Danny on drums in Chicago, Danny Piselli, great drummer. And yeah, so sometimes it depends, because sometimes, Bas was always on tour with us, but the the work visas are so expensive, and I'm a proud green card holder, so it's not a problem for me. But bringing European musicians, into the States, that's sometimes tricky. So that's sometimes, the reason why Bas is not playing with us, that Chris Caffrey is playing with us, or Tommy Bowen, my, guitar player from the Triumph and Agony times. So we always like, we're all a big family. Nobody ever left, but so there's some reasons sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and it's complicated. It got so complicated. Back in the 80s, you could just go and tour all over the world, and now, you have to play by the rules, and it's okay. But it's sometimes not easy. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Brian Plita, publisher of Coffin Comics, and I'm a lifelong metalhead. But I'm here to say, please support Slam, because everybody needs a hand up every once in a while, and this organization is the right one to do the job. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because then people can stop gossiping and trying to make up reasons and just recognize that it's as simple as that. And hopefully we can take care of this so that there's not these visa complications. It can just be simpler again, like you're talking about. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully, but yeah, it's like, there's, yeah. But we manage. When we have a long tour, then of course we will bring bars, and of course, yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, so I have a question. I want to ask a question about now you're starting, coming out in the 80s. So you've had albums out on record, tape, CD, and then you saw MP3s come and go. So talk to me about how is the streaming era for you as a musician, for your back catalog? How is streaming for you?
Yeah, Jack, I guess everybody knows it's I think it's very hard for musicians to survive only on streaming. Maybe like, like the big pop artists, that's really cool. But for normal musicians, streaming, it's like, you cannot even buy a sandwich, I think like it's tough. It's tough. And I'm still like, I love old school stuff like records or vinyl. And there are not so many record stores anymore worldwide. I was used to always going into Tower Records in New York, 24 hours open. I was there all night till 6 o'clock in the morning. That's no more. And many rock clubs, they closed. So definitely, yeah, times have changed, and the streaming, that's one thing. I like to have something in my hand. I love the magic of great artwork, like, for example, this one, that's like that's the painting, and then we did something else to it. I love old school stuff, so I miss that. And streaming is like, it's not, I think it has not so much magic. And I I like vinyl over CDs, I must say, but still sometimes CDs, I love to listen to it. And yeah, it's like, you have to go, I embrace new things, but when old things completely go away, that's like, oh man, that's heartbreaking. So I still always want to give like the fans like great stuff, like great artwork, great booklets, like special editions like the liquid filled vinyl, or like picture discs, like I love that stuff. So I always try to do my best to keep that thing going, and and to support record stores. And but it's different. Yeah, it's different times. And I remember in America, when everybody said, hey, vinyl is going away and CDs are coming, I went to Europe and I told everybody, hey, I think vinyl is going away and CD, and everybody said, oh, you're crazy. 2 years later, no more vinyl. And so in Europe everything was a little bit later, but now worldwide it's pretty much the same. And digital, yeah, that's good, it's important, but the old school stuff still has to stay, man. Yeah.
Perfectly said. And you can't fill your Spotify stream with Blue Carousel. Also, you
Yeah,
need a vinyl for that.
exactly. Yeah, and if you're really desperate, you can even like put a hole in it and drink it. If you really, want to, I don't think you can get drunk of this little little thing with liquid, but but it's fun. Yeah, and and it's something to keep. And I have a whole vinyl collection, like all over there. Like you see, like there are mountains of vinyl all over, and I love it. And and yeah, and yeah, I
So
still love.
my buddy Rich Catino from Metal Asylum wanted me to ask about reissues. So I know you recently did some reissues of the Warlock catalog, and even so, are there any reissues coming from especially from the Warlock catalog, but Warlock and yourself? Anything
Yes,
coming up soon?
yes, I got hooked up with my old record company. It used to be Phonogram. Now it's Universal. And they did all kinds of cool picture discs. Actually, the first one we did together was like a great compilation, was the best of Doro and Warlock. It was called Rare Diamonds, a beautiful picture disc. And then they did another one, the Force Majeure album. I didn't even get a vinyl. I have to call them and tell them. But that was actually, and that is a beautiful picture. This and yeah, and I actually they asked me, what do you want to do next? And I thought maybe it's nice to do maybe the Triumph and Agony, like another picture disc. I We did a picture disc before in '87. But I think that would be really nice, maybe like like extra cool stuff. So I would hope it would be the Triumph and Agony, but if it's another record they suggest, that's cool by me. As long as it's a cool, really cool picture disc, I'm a happy camper.
They look great. Yeah, no, absolutely. And classic albums too. Absolutely fantastic. So great to see them all coming back, and especially in that format.
Yes, yes, no, yes. Yeah, I just recently bought another record player. Yeah, this one was actually that one was the one Gene Simmons produced, and there was just called Doro, and that was actually in Zuma Beach. There was a beautiful photo session, and it looks, yeah, it's I think, yeah, picture this are very special. God, I don't want to show you. I don't want to waste our time with showing you all this stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I could open up a record store. Yeah, by now. Yeah,
You should. Then that could be the future. Yeah, Doro's record store. Yeah,
yeah.
can make them worldwide. Uh,
Yes, especially for young bands or for young people who maybe haven't seen like great bands like or great singers like Ronnie James Dio or Lemmy or Motorhead. Like, yeah, I can definitely tell them all about it because I toured with everybody and I was friends with so many great people like Lemmy and Dio. They were my best friends actually, and yeah.
wow. Yeah, two of the absolute greatest ever. Well, I'm sorry that we lost them. Sorry for your personal loss, because as a fan I feel it, but for you it's more personal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But everybody loved Lemmy and Dione so much. And yeah, so yeah, actually, yeah. But I had I had the great honor to work with Lemmy in the studio and we toured together. So yeah, and with Dio as well. Dio was actually that was my third tour in life. The first tour was actually with Judas Priest in 1986. Second tour was Wasp in England. And third tour was with the legendary Ronnie James Dio. And then later on, Motorhead, Saxon, Scorpions, Megadeth in the States. And oh God, yeah, I'm so blessed I could tour with the best. And yeah.
All right. Well, you belong there with them. I mean, those are great bands, legends, but you belong there with them. Absolutely. So, all right, I got time for two more questions. Got energy for two more, and then you can just turn off the computer and be done with everybody.
Yeah, I know. I think there's some more people waiting, but yeah, but
Okay.
it's all cool. Talking about music and talking to the fans and connecting. I love it. I love it. It means the world to me.
Okay. Well. So if we're all right, if let me make sure we get right to it. So, but what is your advice? Because you're a very positive person, and you keep a lot of positive energy in the world. What is your advice for staying positive in a negative world, in a world that kind of makes people want to give up? What's your advice for staying positive and staying happy?
Yeah, I would say, man, do what you feel like bring to the table, like what is your like your talent, maybe your God-given talent. Yeah, everybody I think is unique. You have you know you have something to offer, even when people don't understand it. Just find out what it is and then go for it. Go for it with all, like, every day if possible, and always follow your heart. You can't go wrong. Like, follow your heart. Do what feels good. Always follow your instinct, your gut feeling. Try to get together with good people who believe in you. if nobody believes in you, just believe in yourself and do it, and never let the bastards get you down. It's always, it's hard sometimes. People always, have something to say or have an opinion, and sometimes, they criticize you, but just like stay strong, be yourself, and do what you love. When you love something, that's more powerful than any criticism or any opinions. Just do it, and and always know, my experience is it always takes longer than expected. You want to maybe be successful like in a year or in 2 years, or sometimes it takes a long time, but don't give up. And it always goes up and down and up and down, and enjoy it, when it goes up, when you get successful, and and when it's like a hard time, then just like hang in there, do your thing, and and times will change. It's always like, yeah, there's always an up and down. Sometimes, in the most successful times, I remember we had like our big hit, like with Triumph and Agony and the song Oh We Are and Für Immer, and all, like this album was really big, and we were on tour with Ronnie James Dio, and it was unbelievable. And I had this great American manager, his name was Alex Grove, and I had the European manager as well. And then we were touring in Europe with Ronnie James Dio. I was on top. It was so awesome, big time successful. And then suddenly my American manager said, hey, by the way, your European manager, he left. And I said, what do you mean? He just left. And I said, how come, man? It got so successful. He said, he split, he left. And I've never seen him again. I never talked to him. And, and then it was heartbreaking. And then what was even more heartbreaking, he took our name, Warlock, because he was interested in the merchandising, and we couldn't believe it. So the next record after the Triumph and Agony album, that was actually, yeah, it was my first solo album, but I didn't even want to go solo. That was like actually the Force Majeure album. And then I said, let's of course call it Warlock. And the lawyer said, no, you can't. You absolutely can't. And so we called it Doro. And then, and I said, okay, the next record I will call it Warlock again. And it took me 20 years to get the rights to the name back. So sometimes, when there's a lot of light, there's a lot of shadow as well. It's like the nature of the beast. You just have to, just like make the best out of every moment. And but it's not easy, I must say. It's like, sometimes it's hard, so hang in there, do your best.
Wow, that's a hell of a story. I actually did not know that about the Warlock name, so thanks for sharing that. That's an incredible story.
Yeah man, yeah, there's always, it's an adventure, I tell you. The whole music thing, and the music business, it's like, sometimes your best friends can sometimes surprise you, and like, what? It's like, but the fans, they are always there. And I must say, I do it all for the people, for the fans. They are like my best friends, they are my family, and it's, and every hardship is worth it, to give the fans, like, either a great record or a great concert or a great song, or make them feel really good and empowered. So
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Doro. You are absolutely a class act and a great part of music history. And it's an honor talking. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you for having me. It was fun talking, and it was super nice talking to you.
Oh, great. Well, thank you.